Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating 0, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I am Brian, and I play Hektor the Gatekeeper.
Hey, I'm Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
Hey, this is Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic. We have convened once more to attend the tale. How's everybody doing?
Woo!
Ready to die!
Really leading into the woo girl thing.
There is some grim business afoot for this particular episode of our lovely podcast. When last we left our heroes, Rilla, Zurabak, Hektor, and Ruger had been assaulted by the sinister Varyx, Hand of the Void, a servant of the mysterious Lord Deceiver. Varyx had descended upon our party while they were traveling through the Badlands. He demanded that our party relinquish the bard Sebastian and the Stricken's grimoire. Our heroes were able to fight off Varyx, but not before he kidnapped Inga Hilltopple, the merchant who hired them as bodyguards. They were given an ultimatum: bring the bard and the book to a horrid locale known as the necropolis if they wanted to see Inga alive again. Our heroes crafted a plan to rescue Inga after the ranger Ruger Firehide bravely set out to scout the locale, a ruined old metropolis full of tumbled buildings and rife with ravens feasting on the carrion therein. He witnessed a horrid base of operations for the nefarious cult of the Stricken, including a spike of pure black darkness that they later found was the void incarnate, piercing into their reality. As they finished their plans for a rescue attempt, they were met by a mysterious figure from Rilla's past, her Aunt Arafin, last of the elven mages, who revealed that she had other plans. After receiving a thorough talking to from Rilla, Arafin decided to go along with our hero's plan to save Inga Hilltopple and revealed some additional information about their enemy stronghold. We join our heroes now as they begin their quest to save Inga from Varyx, Hand of the Void, and the necropolis he inhabits. So, you all stand outside of a ruined city, the once tall, proud wall surrounding it now a jagged heap of tumbled stone, the buildings all crumbled or sunken strangely into the earth, some of them seeming as if they've been picked up and tumbled onto the buildings next to them. Some great calamity befell this place centuries ago, and it still bears the scars. Also around this crumbling metropolis is a gigantic cloud of ravens. These large black birds alight upon every roof and structure you can see and also form a swirling black mass above the city itself, drawn here by the stench of death and promise of carrion. The acrid reek of decay is assailing your nostrils as you start to take your first steps into the city. So, tell me, heroes, what is the plan? What are we doing?
All right, let's just reiterate the plan now that we're here. Make sure everybody knows their roles. It'll be me and Zurabak will go down this road over here. Get to the warehouse of bodies that Ruger told us about.
Just follow your nose, buddy.
Yeah. We'll set up a big distraction there. But first, you guys will go down the main road. Rilla, you'll be Sebastian.
Yeah, I'm bait. My job's kind of easy.
Yep, and I will stare down Varyx and his void spike. Got it.
So I only have 40 minutes that I can be Sebastian. That's it. So we need to be pretty strategic with this whole plan, because after that I turn back into Rilla, or I have to frantically cast it and hope no one catches me.
I think that once you guys have eyes on Inga, that's when we pop off.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they emerge from their tower and come to greet me. I'm not too keen on us going in it alone. I'm a little shaken.
You can always blow it up. Apparently.
Oh, speaking of which, I have a present. And Rilla shuffles through her bag and hands Zurabak and Hektor each a flask of alchemist fire. Just in case.
Zurabak hands it back.
Okay, that's fine.
Wait, is your distraction involving fire?
Oh no, this is the we're all dying, set it all ablaze plan.
Yeah, that's a terrible plan. Let's not do that plan. No matter how bad it gets, let's not do that. Can we all agree on that?
I mean, I'm kind of thinking no matter how good it gets, that I would like to burn down the warehouse full of bodies. Just seems like something that shouldn't exist on this plane of existence anymore.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I can't argue with that logic. But, maybe just wait until I'm clear. Just keep your fire away from me, Hektor.
Don't come near the warehouse then, I guess.
Got it. Alright, I think we're all on the same page then.
So there is one extra thing I realized that I probably should mention to you guys. And that is that I have a bead of force that we could maybe use.
What's a bead of force?
I know a lot about magical items, but for Ruger's sake, would you mind describing what that is?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So this was one of the magical items we got as a reward from... Was it from Inga? I'm trying to remember. Who gave us these?
I don't know. I
Yeah, it was
this and the...
Yeah.
No, this item was a reward from the sheriff of Blackrock after you put out the fire ravaging the town.
That's what it was. Yeah. It all blends together.
I'll just take the description from here. So a bead of force.
Thanks, I was Googling it. That's why I was kind of trying to cover.
Let your DM handle this one. So a bead of force is a small black bead that you throw at bad guys, and it explodes in like a 10-foot radius that hurts everyone around it, does like 5d6 force damage. Also, the person you throw it at has a chance to be caught within a giant impenetrable bubble for about 10 minutes. If they fail their saving throw, you basically encapsulate them within an impenetrable orb of energy.
So I say that.
Well, that sounds like the thing you do. That sounds like the first thing you do. As long
So I
as
figure-
Inga's not within that space, seems like the first thing you do. And maybe you can put Varyx in a bubble.
See, I thought it was our escape route. So we get Inga to a point where we can grab her, and then I, lock Varyx up and we book it. Because that gives us like a 10-minute head start. Because remember how fast he was?
He
We're
is
going to need
very
that.
fast.
Yeah, about that. He was preternaturally fast. So we have got to do something to stop him from chasing us because he is a freak of nature.
Hobble him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll just kneecap him with one of these here axes. No problemo.
Cool, now that you have your plan, I think...
This has got to be the worst plan I've ever heard. Just hobble him and we'll set everything on fire. Great!
Yeah.
I fail to see any flaws with what you just described.
The daughters of Inga Hilltopple, the outriders Helga and Olga, are also with you as you enter the necropolis and have this conversation. Helga says, "Well, I think it's a decent plan. I do have one question. How do we communicate? What is the signal? When does the distraction start? When first we see our mother, then everything goes to hell? What is there a signal? How do we do this?"
Rilla, you're the magic one. Do you have a way to signal us?
Well, I've got prestidigitation, and I've got dancing lights that maybe could be seen from far away. And I think that might be all I have. So, does anyone have anything else that might work?
Helga says, "I think that magical light swirling in the sky is a good enough signal. So once the dancing lights go up, Hektor and Zurabak start making a lot of noise, hopefully draw everyone's attention that way, and we try to grab our mother and go. That sounds good to me."
Okay.
Does everybody know what they're doing?
Unfortunately.
Hey, I borrowed one of Sebastian's outfits, right?
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Let's just say I did. Cool.
And might I say, you make a very cute Sebastian.
Thank you. Wait, thank you! Is that high enough?
Olga says, "Yeah, that is pretty good impression. I approve. Also, don't forget to hold this," Olga says, and she pulls out a large musty tome. "This is the decoy that the real Sebastian gave us last night. We dirtied it up as much as we could. I think it looks pretty evil, but make sure you're holding."
Do you think it would be smart if I put it in our group bag of holding? Because that's where Sebastian keeps it.
It might be wiser to have it visible so they at least think that we brought it to them.
Okay.
But that is your call. So you guys have been venturing farther into this gigantic cityscape as you are hashing out the final stages of this plan. And eventually you get to the vantage point that Ruger and Helga and Olga found on their previous scouting trip. A large building that seems to have sunken at a strange angle into the very stone of the street. It sticks up, making a sort of ramp that the top of which pops up over the buildings and gives you all a good view. To remind you of the terrain, as you all top this small rise to get a look at the battleground before you, you see a semicircular courtyard, some 100 feet across, that is backed up against a sheer cliff that leads into a now dry riverbed. Leading into the semicircular courtyard is a road from the west. This road is lined with large buildings that used to be warehouses. One of them, you can see, with the door splayed wide open, is full of corpses, and the acrid stench of necrosis assails you even from this vantage point some 300 feet away. You see some stirring in there, some folks in black robes, and just piles and piles of corpses and gore. There is a road leading into this courtyard from the east. This street is lined with smaller residential buildings and seems to have not very much cover and is a clear road into this courtyard. In the center of the courtyard itself is the remnants of a large clock tower, broken in half, the top of which is leaning on another squat building, making a sort of Stonehenge shape. The now empty face of this clock tower is a gaping hole that looks down onto one of the most horrible things that any of you have ever seen. A 20-foot tall and 10-foot wide spike of the darkest, inkiest black you have ever beheld. It seems to suck in light instead of reflect it, and as you all gaze upon it, it seems to roil like water. Helga and Olga pass around some spyglasses for you guys to get a closer look, and you see that the surface of this spike is roiling with what looks like faces. Around this spike is around a dozen hooded figures in black robes, each of them wearing a pendant, a small circular pendant with the purple spiral of the Cult of the Stricken carved into it. And Varyx is nowhere to be seen. This is the scene spread out before you.
Okay, well, I guess you guys just go down there, and I don't go down there to that thing, and we're all happier. You guys do the spike, yeah, bodies, that's fine.
Hector, I'm not sure if I've told you this, but I will now. I kind of hate you, buddy. You're a real son-of-a-bitch sometimes.
With any luck, you won't soon.
Yeah, I've kind of gathered that this whole plan is set up to put me right on the front lines of death. I definitely picked that all up.
Helga says, "Oh, do not worry, Mr. Firehide. My sister and I, and Rilla as well, will be right there with you, staring death right in the face."
Yeah, so Hector the hero can talk about how he became a hero after he let all his companions die. So it'll be fine, right?
Oh ho!
Ho ho!
He says
Oh
that. Even Becky's getting in on it.
All jokes aside, you know that if you guys all die, I will also be dying here today, fighting as many of these things as I can before I go. You understand that about me, right? Honor before reason. That's like my whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do the honorable thing here. The honorable thing.
And not die.
Yeah, let's
not die.
Let's.
Incidentally, we can we see the warehouse from this vantage point pretty well?
Yes. That's why I described it to you.
Yeah, I just, I mean, like, can I make out, I'm trying to figure out, like, the door situation. Can I make that out fairly well from up here?
This warehouse has 2 very large doors. They are each 15 feet wide and 15 feet tall. It looks like this building was designed to allow large carts in and out of it. They are swung open at the moment, allowing a very unfortunate view of the large pile of dead bodies inside.
Windows?
There do seem to be windows. The building itself is about 30 feet tall, some 40 feet wide, and there are very thin windows just under the roof of this building. They are all absolutely full of ravens who are all chomping greedily on small bits of rotted meat that they are, some of which are fighting over. It's like bees on a beehive.
Okay. Yep. Those are my questions for now. More later.
Do we see Inga anywhere?
You do not.
Nor do we see Varyx.
You were advised by your aunt last night that they keep their prisoners in the tower, and your aunt was able to use her crystal ball to scry Inga's location, and she seems to be chained in the broken top half of the tower next to a throne positioned by the large circular opening in the top of the tower that looks down on the void spike, which we are calling it.
Yep, that's canon now.
So, what do you guys do?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Fuck it, I guess. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Now I'm all pumped. That's all it takes. One positive speech from the coach, and I'm good to go. So, fuck it, void
Fuck
spike.
it, I guess. Let's do this.
Bring on the fire. Bring on the void
inspired.
spike. Fuck it, I'll fight the killer monk dude who could easily rip me in half. It's good to go. I'll hobble him. Let's do this.
Alright, well, I'll see you guys on the other side.
One way or the other.
Good luck, Zurabak. I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Where am I going?
You're going with Hektor. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And good luck. You're gonna need it, sounds like.
Zurabak, listen to me. You don't eat these corpses, okay? Stay focused.
Oh my god, you have to warn him that?
You don't tell me how to live my life.
Can you at least wait until after the mission?
No guarantees.
All right, so you all go your separate ways. Hektor and Zurabak, you head to the west, to the street lined with warehouses to set up for your distraction, while Ruger, Rilla, shape-changed into a perfect likeness of Sebastian, clad in his clothes and holding a dummy grimoire, are flanked by Helga and Olga, and make your way to the eastern street leading into the courtyard. Let's start with Hektor and Zurabak. You two make your way through the jumble of ruined and tumbled buildings all around you to navigate your way to this large warehouse. As you descend towards this courtyard and weave through the ruins, how are you approaching this warehouse?
Stealthily?
With my legs.
If you are attempting stealth, let's try some move silently checks.
I want to note that at least Hektor is not trying to get very close, just trying to get an eye line on it, and get positioned.
Gotcha. What kind of position are you looking for? Do you want to be across the street? Do you want to be on top of a building next to it? Like, what kind of position are you looking for?
I don't necessarily want to go all the way. Are there buildings on the way to it?
Yeah, there's a shit ton. You are in a giant ruined metropolis. You are weaving through the crumbled buildings of as you make your way there.
Then yeah, behind or in a building a little ways off where we can still kind of see the warehouse.
Okay, so you are looking for the ruins of a nearby building that will give you line of sight. Go ahead and roll me a move silently. Zurabak, are you even attempting stealth? Because I'd love a move silently from Zurabak. Boy, that'd go down so smooth. With his big muscles and his thick thighs.
I got a 13.
Okay.
Which isn't bad for me.
Hold on, I'm trying to find snakes.
Oh yeah, we got the snake in here too. Snake's in the mix.
Zurabak got a 12, and Snake got a 11.
Okay, those aren't as ruinous as I assumed they would be. So,
Well, Zurabak rolled a 12, and Snake had bonuses.
Hector, Zurabak, and Snake, you pick your way carefully as you big meaty boys can, through the ruined, crumbling buildings all around you.
That's my new band name, Big Meaty Boys.
And try as hard as you can to avoid detection. You all make your way through, and the stench of death gets worse and worse as you approach this building. You are eventually able to find a ruined warehouse, the ceiling half caved in, that is across the street from your mark, giving you a nice line of sight. It's about catty corner. The warehouse with the corpses is about 50 feet away from you, and there seems to be enough cover for you guys to sort of hunker down as you make your way into this ruined warehouse. Not a moment after you all slip into this building, a patrol of 2 black-robed figures walks past you, heading up the street towards the undead warehouse. You barely tuck your heads down behind cover before they pass right next to you two, seeming not to notice your presence, but after your heartbeat slows a little bit after nearly being detected, that stench does get fucking horrible, and you see trailing after these two a desiccated corpse. Looks like it used to be some semblance of a human. It has a giant yawning mouth full of sharp teeth and long fingers ending in claws. It lopes inhumanly after the 2 robed cultists that just passed you, and the smell coming off of this thing is the worst smell either of you have ever experienced. And for Zurabak, that's saying something. Each of you needs to roll me a fortitude saving throw.
Is it verse poison or fey?
Let's see. No.
23.
Does Snake have to roll a fortitude save not to taste it?
Yes.
He starts violently retching.
Shit, he'd have to roll 2 if he's tasting it.
I mean, he's smelling with his tongue. Zurabak got a 24, and Snake, he got a 8.
Okay. Hector and Zurabak, you are totally fine, and you are not sickened by this horrific stench that overtakes you. This undead creature passes by without detecting you, and you are not sickened by its horrific stench. You're able to cover your noses and not retch. Unfortunately, Zurabak, Snake is now sickened. Your faithful companion does not give away your position, but it does have the sickened condition, which means it basically has -2 on all rolls going forward. So, Hector and Zurabak, you two are in position across the street from this warehouse. The 2 robed cultists that just passed you walk into this warehouse, the doors of which are wide open, and the horrific smelling undead thing loping after them follows them in as well. There seem to be 2 other cultists in there, so there are now 4 total. And they are standing over this gigantic pile of dead bodies and gore and intoning arcane syllables under their hooded robes. That is where you all are at. Ruger and Rilla, you two make your way, flanked by Helga and Olga, down this broad thoroughfare. You are surrounded by what used to be residential buildings. They are far smaller than the large ruined warehouses on the other side of the courtyard, spaced out far more. These buildings seem to be as badly ruined as all the rest of the architecture in this crumbling city. Roofs are caved in. Some of these buildings are sunken into the ground, some seeming to be completely detached from their foundations and strewn about other plots of land. There is no cover as you make your way into the courtyard, and as you come to the end of the street and get to the courtyard proper, the stench of death becomes almost unbearable, and the chanting reaches your ears. You see in the courtyard 12 black-robed figures, all standing around this horrific void spike, this thing that Sebastian informed you was a piece of the void itself, breaking into your reality. And being this close to it makes you incredibly uneasy. It is a horrific sight, and it hurts your eyes to gaze upon it as you watch a unfortunately familiar figure appears suddenly next to this ring of cultists. Varyx, the Hand of the Void, clad in black leather with a handprint on his chest, inside of which is a purple spiral. His face is still uncovered after your previous fight, and his mouth is still stitched shut with thick black thread. His back is to you as he appears from nowhere, and he calmly, as you watch, walks around the circle and picks 3 cultists seemingly at random as they chant, and strikes them with the flat of his palm against their back. As he does, the void spike in the middle of this ring flares up, roils with some dread energy, and inky black tendrils lash out at these cultists. You see a small wisp of some blue-white energy get pulled from them by these inky black tendrils, and these cultists' eyes and mouth go wide and glow with this horrid black energy, just like the void spike itself. And you see the spike grow about a foot as you're looking. As soon as this is done, Varyx turns to look at you as you enter the courtyard, and slowly...
I pull a handkerchief out and go, oh! Because that's what Sebastian would do.
God, that is a good impersonation.
That is very, that's very good. I like that a lot. You perfectly encapsulate the character. And it's as you make that noise that Varyx turns around and locks eyes on your party. He grins, straining these threads that are stitched in his lips and slowly starts to walk over to you. You hear a unfortunately familiar voice whisper in your heads.
So, you have seen reason and brought me the bard and the book. I knew that the halfling would pull at the strings of your hearts. You heroes are so easy to predict.
Really, Varyx? Now you're gonna gloat? We brought you what you want. Where's Inga?
I must admit, I was having second thoughts on honoring our agreement, but I was advised to see our bargain through. You have influential friends. I will bring the halfling. Wait here, and I shall retrieve her.
And with that, Varyx disappears again. Right before your eyes, seems to vanish.
I look back at Sebastian in this brief interlude. Who is he talking about? What friend?
I don't think this is a conversation we should be having here, dear. And I hide again behind the handkerchief.
So after a few heartbeats, Varyx returns, appearing from out of nowhere, this time holding Inga. She looks tired. Her hair is frazzled, but she looks otherwise unharmed. Her arms and legs are shackled, and he holds her by the kind of scruff of her collar unceremoniously as he stands about 50 feet from your party.
Go on then, Varyx. Send her over.
I am not a fool. We will exchange our assets at the same time.
What? You afraid I'm gonna outrun you? I mean, come on, buddy. I saw how you move.
You will forgive me if I do not take you at your word.
Says the guy feeding souls to a void spike. I look back at Sebastian.
Are we ready for this?
I don't know. You're the one who's supposed to set off the signal. Are you ready for this?
Sure. And I cast dancing lights directly up into the sky.
Okay. You cast dancing lights, and a swirl of colorful orbs of light shine out far above your head. And Hektor and Zurabak, you see the signal as you lie in wait next to the warehouse full of corpses. What do you do?
Zurabak, will you help me close these doors?
Zurabak shrugs.
Alright, let's go close these doors. I'm gonna run across the street. Hopefully Zurabak's with me, so we can try and close the giant doors on the warehouse. And I'm going to do something just before we're completely done closing them. It's gonna be throwing the alchemist fire. So you just tell me when how much we can get done before we have to start rolling initiative.
That is a very good question. You guys managed to stay hidden, and the cultists are snug as a bug inside of this warehouse, currently focused on spellcasting. So, you two are able to rush forward across the street, pouncing from your position of cover, and lay hands on these doors. They are large and heavy. I'm going to need you to roll me strength checks to see how quickly you can slam these things shut. So you rush across the street, disturbing a big puff of ravens which scatter every which way as you storm across this boulevard. You reach this enormous warehouse which looms over you, and the stink of death just punches you both in the face. And you each grab onto one of these warehouse doors and roll me strength checks.
May I start raging on my way across the street?
You absolutely may. You're a barbarian. Cool. What'd you get, Zurabak?
21 altogether.
Fantastic. Hector, what'd you get?
I got also 21.
Well, isn't that perfect? You two rush across the street. You lay hands on these doors, and you are able to, with your very powerful muscles, start to swing them shut. They are half closed before anyone inside even turns their head. And Hector, you're planning to what's next?
I would like to throw the alchemist fire that Rilla gave me. Just in a spot where I can hit the most cultists possible with the splash.
Fantastic. Roll an attack roll.
23.
Fan-fucking-tastic. It's absolutely a hit. So, you two rush forward, grab onto these doors, and flexing your powerful muscles, start to swing them closed. At the same time, Hector, you take a flask of alchemist fire gifted to you by Rilla, and you hurl it with all of your might. You slam into one of these cultists right on the money. You hurl this alchemist fire right into his torso, and his black robes catch immediately. Go ahead and roll damage.
What's damage for alchemist fire?
D6.
Just to be clear, is this going to hit other cultists with the splash?
Yeah, they're standing in a bundle.
Okay. I rolled a 1.
Okay. So, you throw your vial of alchemist fire. It smashes into the robe of one of these cultists, which immediately catches on fire. It spreads out this viscous, flammable fluid, splashing out in all directions, and catches the robes of the cultists standing around him on fire as well. They're going to see if they can put these flames out. Oh boy. Yeah, they don't know how to stop, drop, and roll. And you hear the very satisfying sound of cultists of the stricken screaming as the doors are slammed shut. Do you try to barricade or bar these in some way?
I was gonna say, do I see a locking mechanism like a big?
Are they wood?
They are made of wood, yes.
Yeah, then I just warp wood that shit.
Yeah.
Fantastic. As Hector hurls this alchemist fire, catching these cultists ablaze, the door slams shut, and shortly after, Zurabak casts warp wood, calling upon his druidic magics to make the wood of these two large doors twist and warp, essentially sealing the entrance shut. You very soon hear the sound of banging and thudding against the inside of the door and the screaming of burning cultists. Some smoke starts curling.
I bang and thud back and laugh.
After a few seconds of the lighthearted banging of feeble cultist hands on the door, you do start hearing another sound, which is the powerful thuds of whatever undead abominations were within smashing against the wood of this door as well. Back to Ruger and Rilla. Rilla, you set off this dancing lights, giving the signal, and from across the courtyard, you hear a loud banging sound, kind of like giant doors slamming, and then you hear screams and thudding, quite the racket, coming from across the courtyard. And 9 of the cultists that were around this void spike, the ones that aren't currently fountains of void energy, they all break off their chanting and rush over in response to this outburst, rush over to that side of the courtyard to investigate. Varyx turns his head to sort of look over in that direction and then turns back to you and says, "As I should have guessed. We'll have to do this the hard way." And we're going to roll initiative.
Oh.
Gonna roll all around initiative, or
Yeah, let's just roll all around initiative. All right. Hector, what'd you get?
15.
Zurabak, what'd you get?
16, and Snake got whatever 15 plus 7 is.
22.
22. Ruger, what'd you get?
6.
Ruger, you have to roll better on initiative, my bro. You have to.
Why?
Wow.
I'm not gonna hit him anyways. I mean,
Rilla, what'd you get?
12.
Oh, okay. That's not 6.
no, and
Just gonna roll for.
It's twice that.
honestly, we might have jumped the gun a little bit on shooting off the lights. We should have maybe waited till Iga started walking this way and not, I don't know, still in the grasp of...
I gave you guys a
Shut
chance to have people walk toward places, but you're like, fuck it, let's do it. So, no regrets from my
Yeah.
end. I have no regrets. So, Rilla and Ruger, you are seated on your mounts, staring down Varyx, whose hand is still on Inga. And Varyx says, The Void Spike has many wonders to show you. The most faithful of our order give their souls to the Void to allow it to spread in this world. Let me show you the glories of the Void. And he snaps his fingers, and the 3 cultists whose souls were just eaten by the Void Spike, they all 3 of them levitate about a foot off the ground, their heads turned toward the heavens, just emitting darkness from their eyes and mouths like beacons, and they all flit over to you folks. And let's see, 2 of them are now in front of Ruger, and 1 of them is in front of Rilla, who is still shape changed to look like Sebastian. Okay, so they spent their entire turn moving, so they don't do anything. But yeah, you basically, Ruger, you are staring down 2 of these cultists who are hovering a foot off the ground. Their faces are just emitting this horrible black glow, for lack of a better term. And yeah, 1 of them is hovering right in front of you, Rilla. That is the bad guy's turn. Rilla, it's your turn. There is a bad guy right in front of you. There are 2 in front of Ruger, and Varyx is still standing about 50 feet away from you, holding on to Inga Hilltopple. What do you do?
Fuck. So, are my stats different for attacking as a halfling? 'Cause I didn't fuck with any of that.
Well, you're a gnome.
Gnome. Small person.
Wow.
Racist.
Wow.
The dex bonus for your archery and shit doesn't change.
Okay.
So,
But I feel like if I do archery, it's very clear that I'm not Sebastian.
he doesn't fucking know.
And I kind of think maybe sort of halfway the jig's up a little bit. Like, we're in Mortal Kombat with this guy. I don't think we're going to be able to walk this back to, like, peaceful negotiations.
Yeah, but I can
Okay,
see
so,
the
like-
logic of, like, if he still thinks you're Sebastian and he still thinks you have the book, that he would make a target out of you instead of worrying about still using Inga as much of a hostage. You know?
And I'm less of a threat. So I kind of feel like I should keep acting here and, like, flail with my longsword. You know? Like, not well, and go, oh!
Sure.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
Fantastic. So Rilla, still deep in character as Sebastian, and I'm getting a little offended by the portrayal here, but that's fine. It's all-
Look, it won't work if I start talking, and I know it, so I'm just making his horrified noises.
Cool. So you're gonna swing at this cultist with a longsword?
I got a 15 to hit.
That is a hit on this cultist.
Wow. Okay. So that's 7 points of damage on a cultist.
Fantastic. You slay this cultist.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I cry a single tear.
You draw your sword and you slash at this cultist, and your blade swipes just right through them. But as you do, a horrible black substance sprays out from them onto you. You're going to need to roll me a fortitude saving throw as this horrible black ichor spews from this slayed cultist onto your body.
I got an 11.
Okay. You are going to take 1 negative level because you just got a little bit of the void splashed onto your body.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
You get
Okay.
-1 to all checks, and your maximum hit points has been reduced by 5.
Holy shit. Okay.
You feel your life draining out of you as this horrible black ichor gets on your body. You're able to put this thing down, but yeah, these little splatter of black ichor like burns like acid, and you feel yourself getting like lethargic, and your spirit is fucking drawn out of you.
I shriek and dab at it with my handkerchief.
God, what a character actor.
Roll me a disguise check real quick.
Okay. I got that is a 14 on my disguise.
Okay. 6.
Am I doing it? That's why I need to take some rogue levels.
I mean, it seems like Varyx is buying it for sure. So that is Rilla's turn. It is now the Hilltopple's turn. So Inga, struggling in Varyx's grip, looks at you all and her 2 daughters and says, "Run, you fools! I'm not worth it. You must save Sebastian and the Grimoire. Don't waste your efforts on me. It's not worth it. My fate is sealed." And her daughters, Helga and Olga, Helga says, "We could never leave you. Don't talk like that." And Olga says, "We're going to kick all of their asses." And the Hilltopple sisters both pull out slings and put stones in them, whirl them around their heads, and they fire off sling stones at the 2 cultists in front of Ruger Firehide. So let's see what they get. Shit. Well, they both miss. Their sling stones go wide, and unfortunately, they do not hit their targets. They both rolled very bad. So they miss their mark, but they both sort of fan out to get a little distance on these crazy void cultists. And Ruger, it is now your turn. There are 2 floating cultists emitting the void from their eyes and mouths directly in front of you. What do you do?
Well, I like to narratively believe that as they rushed me, I pulled out my battle axe and hand axe ready for them as they approach. But with the 2 of them right in front of me, I'd like to hit one with my battle axe and one with my hand axe.
Okie dokie.
Counting for those dual wielding penalties. Does a 17 hit?
A 17 does hit.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll the hand axe attack as well. Does a 14 hit?
A 14 unfortunately does not hit.
Okay, so with the battle axe, woo, I do 9 points of damage.
You slay that cultist. Your battle axe passes far too easily through this cultist form, splitting it, and the cultist remains fall to the ground. But as you attack it, this horrid black ichor from inside the cultist splatters across your hand. Roll me a fortitude saving throw.
Hey, 19.
You are able to fend off the cloying touch of the void as this black ichor makes contact with your skin. It burns horribly, and you feel yourself starting to get a little lethargic, but you quickly wipe it off, and your resolve and hardiness are able to keep you whole. You do not get a negative level from this exposure to the void. Congratulations.
Yay!
We are going to shift over to the distraction team. So, Hektor and Zurabak, you two are standing outside of this warehouse. You have sealed the doors shut. You have started a fire. There are loud thuds coming from inside against the door, but thanks to the warp wood spell, no one is able to get out. You are, however, being rushed by a large group of cultists. You've drawn the attention of about 9 black-robed figures who are rushing you with daggers held in their hands. They are about 20 feet away from you right now, clustered in a group surging down the street at you in a mob. Snake is the first to react and the first to go. What does Snake do?
How far are they?
They're about 20 feet away from you.
And Snake is how far away? Because he
Like-
didn't move towards the door. He just sort of stayed over there.
Oh, okay. Like 40 feet away from them?
All right. He's going to slither up closer to me about 20 feet.
Okay. So Snake surges over from his place of hiding to
Stealthily.
stand next to you. Okay. Roll a hide check.
And it's -2, correct?
Yes, because it is sickened.
15 plus 7 minus 2.
Okay, that is very fucking good. Yeah, your serpent is able to expertly slither over to you without attracting the attention of any of the cultists swarming on your location. So your snake is now standing next to you.
That'll be his turn.
That makes it your turn, Zurabak. There are bad guys about 20 feet from you. Your snake is now right at your side. What do you do?
I cast Bull Strength on Hektor.
Dang! Fantastic. That will increase Hektor's strength by an additional 4 points, which will help him with the hurting of things. Fantastic. What does this spell look like when you cast it?
Swampy? That's a good question.
Do you, like, blow some fungus dust or, like, spores into his face or some shit? Do you give him a shot of steroids? Like, what does this look like?
The material proponent for arcane is a pinch of dung from a bull. Or a few hairs.
But definitely done.
So Zurabak puts his meaty hand into his magic pouch and just blows hairs at Hektor.
All right, so Hector Zurabak blows a couple hairs of a bull at you, and you surge with strength beyond strength, power beyond power. Your muscles bulge and flex. There's a lot of vasculature. It's very cool. Zurabak, do you do anything else with your turn?
Bang on the door and laugh at him again.
Fantastic. You take pride in your work. Hector the Gatekeeper, Keeper of the Gates, it is your turn. You are raging. You have been supercharged with the strength of a bull by your druid companion. There's about 9 bad guys surging directly towards you. They're about 20 feet away. What do you do?
As the strength surges up in me, I just say to Zurabak, "Alright, Swamp Man, it's party time." And I run directly into the thick of it. I want to get up to a... Like, what kind of formation are we talking about for these guys?
It's just a big group of dudes. You can get close enough that you can get some cleaves in, no problem.
Cool. I do that. I just run up.
You run directly into a swarm of dudes. Roll attack rolls.
I'm going to power attack -4.
Okay.
Because I can.
Worked last time.
Does a 23 hit?
A 23 does hit.
Lovely. I rolled minimum damage, so that is 18 points of damage.
You obliterate that cultist. You surge forward, running directly into the throng of these black-robed figures, and your first swing smashes the ribcage of the first cultist in front of you. They are thrown aside, smashing into the ruins of a building on the opposite side of the street, giving you a cleave.
I do a pirouette to keep the momentum going and swing it at the next guy. That's 20 to hit. A little lower this time.
That is going to be a hit on a cultist.
That's 20 points of damage.
That is a dead cultist. Continuing your momentum, you pirouette and smash another cultist, sweeping his legs out from under him and turning them into jelly.
Great cleave. Is there another one nearby?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Ooh. Does a 15 hit?
15 does hit.
Ooh. 19 points of damage. I'm rolling low on this damage, you know.
That is another dead cultist. With your savage swings and the momentum of your giant maul, you obliterate a third member of this shadowy cabal, smashing them against a building on the other side of the street.
Is there anybody else in range?
That would be the last one that you can put hands on.
Cool. Having finished smashing 3 men to death within a 6-second period, I stop pirouetting around, plant my feet, look at the rest of them, and snarl.
They look considerably cowed. They are very nervous, but they surge forward anyway. There are 6 of them left, and they surround you as best they can. 3 of them are going to try to stab you with their daggers. They are oddly shaped and look like some sort of ritualistic sacrificial knives. Let's see. So one of them misses, one of them hits you, and yet another one gets a critical hit. So the first knife does 3 points of damage. Slight scoring hit. And the second knife, the critical, does 8 points of damage, carving a bit deeper, but not too far. A fourth member of this group attempts to cast a spell. They stand a bit back from you, reach out their hand, intone some arcane syllables, and roll me a will saving throw.
17.
Okay. This cultist reached out and tried to reach into your mind and cause fear within your heart, but your hardy barbarian nature, you were able to fend off this attempt to cow you, and you are totally fine. So that's a crowd of them. 2 more of them are going to break off and try to stab the druid Zurabak. Zurabak, does a 14 hit your armor class?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 of these black robe cultists surge forward, slashing at you with their knives. One of them misses completely, their blade bouncing off of your leather armor.
I don't know. What did he roll?
Huh?
Did he roll less than 10?
He rolled 4. I gotcha.
He's close. He's close.
Yep. The other one is able to land a hit. You take 6 points of damage from a cultist dagger, scoring your hide. Alright, so while you 2 are engaged in a fracas with some cultists over by the warehouse, we are going to jump back over to the fracas in the courtyard with Varyx, Ruger, and Rilla. It is the bad guy's turn once again. Ruger Firehide, there is a cultist directly in front of you who is hovering a foot off the ground, their eyes and mouth radiating this horrid dark energy, and they are going to reach their hand forward and try to place it on you. Their arm radiates this same black energy which surges down their arm and into you. You are going to need to roll me a will save.
Oh, not good at that. Hey, not terrible. 17. 14 plus 3.
All right, so a rippling mass of this black energy courses down this cultist's arm, down to their hand, which they place upon you, trying to channel this into your body. Again, you are able to weather this and negate the effects of this spell, your will being too strong to succumb to the darkness. Varyx is going to pick up Inga and start to make his way towards the void spike, slowly walking over to it. If you will not surrender the part in the book, I will make good on my promise. All you have to do is lay down your arms. He starts heading to that void spike. Rilla, it is your turn. You are in the guise of Sebastian. You have cut down the cultist in front of you. Ruger is facing down one that tried to channel some black energy into him, and Varyx is heading with Inga towards the void spike. What do you do?
I throw down my longsword.
Fantastic. Do you say anything?
I I'm really afraid that Rilla can't convincingly sound like Sebastian. So
Just give it a shot.
Oh, I am here for this.
Or don't.
I am
That's
here
fine.
for this.
I don't want to force your hand, but I think that'd be delightful.
I'm sure we can come to some agreement. I don't know.
Nailed it.
Perfect. Seeing you do that, the Helga and Olga look at you uneasily, but they also see their mother being dragged to the spike, and they put down their slings. And they kind of look at Ruger. So Rilla's standing down. The Hilltopples were next in initiative. They stand down. Ruger, it's your turn. What do you do?
Well, talking's a free action, so I'm going to start with that.
Yep.
Varyx! I'll drop my axes if you bring Inga. Come on now. Let's just talk it out.
Varyx stops moving. This is where we get into that anime just narrative time, so it's fine.
Hyperbolic time chamber.
Yep. So Varyx stops moving. He looks back at you all and says, "Your companions are tearing their way through my cultists. Luckily for you, they are expendable. Like all who reside in this world. We have plans. The bard and the book are central to those plans. The Lord Deceiver has decreed that they must be recovered at all costs. Send the bard and the book to me, and I will release the little one into your charge. No more tricks. No more delays." What do you do?
Well, I sort of feel like I'm kind of back at the top of the order where I look at Sebastian, like, where are we going with this? I was not expecting to throw down weapons. Are you walking over there?
I mean, yeah? Yeah, I do.
Okay, so then, yeah,
All right.
with my turn, I, kind of step back from the looming cultist in front of me and return my axes to their loops at my hips.
All right, so Ruger, you put your weapons down. As you do, this cultist that was just trying to channel, the void into you, no big deal, hovers back a little bit, no longer directly menacing you. And Rilla, do you make your way forward?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like meta-wise, Rilla might die, but, we've fucked up this plan, and the only way to get it back on track is for me to get Inga away from him. So, yes.
Well, you say fucked up the plan, but there was a small cadre of cultists that got drawn to the other side. The undead are all boarded up. Come on, you're doing
really,
great.
She's referring to the one little hiccup where we jumped the gun a little bit on firing off the signal. We should have waited until Inga was not in his possession.
Hey man, it's D&D, baby.
so
Everybody fucks up all the time. That's part of it.
This feels like the only way to make it get back on track, and I might die, but we're trying something here. So yeah, I go.
Cool. Rilla, you start making your way forward. In the shape of Sebastian Weaver, Bard Extraordinaire of the College of Everspring, you walk forward, holding the mocked-up book in your arms, and you make your way towards Varyx. You get about 20 feet from him, and he lets go of Inga. He releases her, and she looks back at Varyx, her hands and feet still chained, and looks at you in the guise of Sebastian and says, You cannot do this. Giving these people the book is the worst thing you can do. My life is not worth this. These people want to destroy everything. Sebastian, you are noble, but it is not worth it.
Run along to your daughters, dear.
Inga looks up at her daughters who are mounted on their riding dogs and looks back at you, and tear does roll down her face, and she starts shambling over to them, her hands and feet still shackled.
So here's what I'm looking for. I definitely dropped my longsword, but I didn't drop my bow. And I want to shoot this goddamn bead of force at him as soon as there's not me or Ruger or Inga next to him.
Cool.
Like outside of the range.
Couple things about a bead of force. You throw it.
Okay. Cool, perfect.
Like a Pokeball. You can just do that now. You're about 20 feet from him. Inga has been released. So if this is your gamble, go ahead.
This is my gamble, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to work, but it's all I've got. So Inga is safer than she's been, so fuck it, here we go.
All right, Ruger, you see Rilla and the guys of Sebastian Weaver approach Varyx.
Yep.
Inga is released and starts shambling over to her daughters, who race up to meet her. And Rilla, you throw this bead of force, this black sphere flies through the air, covering the short distance between you and your target. And it smashes against the stone courtyard and explodes in a wave of concussive force that beats against you even this far away as it deploys. Roll 5d6 damage.
Okay. I only have 2 of my d6s out, so hang on a second.
There's not a saving throw for this damage, which is pretty fucking dope.
7 plus 5 is 13, plus 2 more. So 17 points of damage?
Dope. So you throw this bead of force, and it explodes right in Varyx's face. This black orb expands incredibly quickly, all at once, sending out this shockwave that rustles your hair and explodes right in Varyx's face, doing a pretty solid amount of damage. It buffets him. You see his skin sort of like press up against the bones of his face, and a large orb appears suddenly, trying to close him within it. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. He didn't get the saving throw.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, he rolled a 6. For fuck's sake.
Oh!
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he
amazing.
Didn't get the save. He is enclosed in a sphere of magical force. You see his eyes go wide, and he stares at you full of hatred as he in vain smashes his fists against the invisible barrier that you have placed around him. The clock has started. You have 10 minutes. What do you guys do?
I just want to point out real quick that she just caught a full health Mewtwo in a standard Pokeball. She was just like, no, I got him. It's cool.
I don't get it.
Oh, yeah. Forget. You don't like those references.
What do you guys do?
I don't dislike... I don't Pokemon. We run.
So what's the deal with the rest of these cultists?
I get back on the little dog and we go.
So we're going to drop back to initiative. Really, after you throw that, it's the Hilltopple's turn. So Rilla, you rush back to your riding dog and mount up to get the fuck out of here. The Hilltopples, Helga and Olga, sweep around to grab Inga, still chained. Helga grabs her mother, throws her over the saddle of a riding dog, and they start going to take off. Ruger, it's your turn.
And I'm screaming, go, 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 in Rilla's voice.
Ruger, it's your turn. You're in your saddle. Varyx, Hand of the Void, is in a fucking bubble, enraged, slamming against its barrier, unable to break free. There is still a cultist floating like 5 feet away from you, its eyes and mouth emitting void stuff. What do you do?
Okay, so let me ask you about how this would work.
Yeah.
So, I can use my crossbow while my horse uses a move action?
Absolutely.
Question mark. So, I want to have my horse Cole do an about face and start to run in the direction that Rilla is suggesting I do. But I also want to take my crossbow from the strap around my body and go ahead and fire off a shot at this floating cultist.
Yeah, you take a shot at this guy and ride off. Roll an attack roll.
And he is within point blank.
Absolutely.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's a hit. That is a 21.
Yeah, you absolutely hit this cultist.
But I only do 2 points of damage.
Okay, that is unfortunately not enough to slay it. You pull out your crossbow, fire off a shot as your horse is wheeling around. You don't get the perfect aim. You tag this cultist in its shoulder, and it spins as it hovers in place. Black ichor spewing out as your trusty steed surges away from this melee. And Rilla and Ruger and the Hilltopples are all now just fucking booking it down the eastern road you came in with Inga Hilltopple in your possession. Going back to the distraction, boys.
Hang on, wait. There's one more thing I want to do if I can. Is that okay?
What?
I want to cast like a prestidigitation or transform my dancing lights into an arrow so the boys have some idea that we're getting the fuck out of here.
You can put your dancing lights over your head and have it follow you like a beacon, like a quest marker.
Perfect,
hovering
that'll
over
do.
you. Fantastic.
Yeah. I just want there to be some indication that we're leaving.
Great. Back to the distraction
cool.
team. It is Snake's turn. Zurabak, you and Snake are standing right next to each other. There's 2 cultists.
Snake is hidden, correct?
I was just going to get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You and Snake are standing right next to each other. There are 2 cultists trying to stab you. They have no idea that Snake is there. What does Snake do on its turn?
Move into flanking position and strike.
Strike it does. Roll an attack roll.
Rolling to confirm does not confirm. Well, what's this to hit? 4? No. An 8 does not confirm, I assume.
No, it does not. Your Snake does land a blow against one of these cultists.
The -2's on damage too, correct?
Yeah, -2 on everything. It's sickened.
Then he does 1 point of damage. Roll a fortitude save, DC 11.
It did get the fortitude save, but this cultist does take 1 point of snake damage as Snake bites it on its butt. This cultist seems hardy enough to ward off the venom, but it is definitely unpleasantly surprised by your snake's bite.
Considering how big he is.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I'd be terrified myself. Zurabak, it is now your turn. There are 2 cultists right in front of you.
Well, I attempt to murderize the one Snake is flanking.
Fantastic. You draw your spear and lash out incredibly violently against these members of the Cult of the Stricken.
18 to hit.
That is a hit.
14 points of damage.
That is a dead cultist, sir. You stab your spear straight through this cultist who looks at you with shocked eyes as their hood falls back and they fall to the ground dead.
Then I use my move action to bang on the door and laugh some more.
You bang on the door and laugh. There has been solid thudding against the warped wood of this warehouse door the entire time you've been standing here. It's only been a short while, and the thudding's been getting louder and more powerful as you've been standing there. And as you laugh this time...
It needs a strength check to open, but it doesn't say what the strength check is. So I would assume it's probably my spell DC then?
Yeah, we'll say that.
DC would be 15.
Alright, so you slay one of these cultists, you bang on the door beside you that you've warped shut and laugh. As you do, the door next to you, you hear an echo of the banging that you do, and you hear boom, boom, you hear splintering, crackling, and then with a final loud boom, the door right beside you explodes outwards in a shower of splinters, and you see a bone-white, desiccated humanoid. This one is wearing armor and is holding a sword. It has bleached white skin and white hair. It looks at you with gleaming red eyes full of malevolence, and you see behind it 3 more corpses are dragging themselves up from the pile of bodies inside the warehouse. There is a small breach, just a 5-foot wide hole, enough for one creature to pass through, but it has been breached. You do see, though, that all of the cultists, unfortunately, are still very, very dead. So, Hektor, it is your turn. You are staring down 4 cultists. They are surrounding you, trying to stab you. What do you do?
Do I have the ability to take a 5-foot step and have all 4 of them in my threatened range?
Yeah, for sure. You tactically position yourself so you can hit all of them in one turn.
And then I'm going to attempt to do that now. Okay. -4 power attack. 16 to hit.
That is a hit on a cultist.
24 points of damage.
That is a dead cultist. You splatter this one.
I start with the
smashing
one that stabbed me good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You, splatter that one to the paving stones beneath your feet and continue your momentum with your cleave feet to move on to the next one.
Does a 22 hit?
22 does hit your next target. Your maul flashing through the air.
20 points of damage.
You flatten yet another cultist, which crumbles at the touch of your maul.
26 gonna hit.
Yes, it does.
20 damage is gonna kill him.
Yes, it does. That is 3 down, 1 to go.
Uh-oh. Does a 14 hit? Woo! I missed one. Yeah!
In another dizzying display of brute strength and combat prowess, Hektor the Gatekeeper swings his maul and slays 3 more cultists, splattering them to the cobblestones. The third one dances just out of your reach, and you are unfortunately unable to gain purchase on this last cultist. There is now 1 cultist facing down you, Hektor, and 1 cultist facing down Zurabak and Snake. You notice 2 things in your orgiastic display of violence. One, the warehouse doors behind you have been breached, and there is a formidable-looking undead creature standing in the opening. And also, there are some very bright lights in the sky on the other side of the courtyard, leading away from the courtyard. It is the cultist's turn. The one staring you down, Hektor, looks at all of its dead friends, and he growls at you in anger.
I growl back.
And surges forward with a desperate frenzy, trying to cut you with his knife. I'm guessing a 9 does not hit your armor class, sir.
No.
All right. Well, in a pitiful attempt to avenge his fallen comrades, he surges forward and slashes at you. He is unable to pierce your armor, and the cultist in front of Zurabak tries to stab him with his knife. That's definitely a hit. And Zurabak here takes 6 more points of knife damage. And Zurabak, you also notice the string of lights that are on the other side of the courtyard leading away from the courtyard. It is Snake's turn. What does Snake do?
Snake moves into flanking position and does snaky things.
Fantastic. Snaky snakes.
19 to hit.
That is definitely a hit.
For 2 points of damage, he rolled max. And go ahead and give me that DC 11 fortitude save.
Fantastic. Your snake bites this cultist, who unfortunately is able to weather the worst of this poison, but still is not happy about being, stabbed by snake teeth. And then it is your turn, sir. So you've got this cultist in front of you that your snake just bit. There is a powerful-looking undead that is just smashed its way outside of the warehouse.
All right, is the whole warehouse made of wood?
Yes, it is. There is a sizable fire burning inside of it, and smoke is pouring out of the windows just underneath the roof of it. It is burning pretty fitfully, but even as you watch, corpses are pulling themselves out of the pile.
All right, then I just wood shape it to make it a wall.
What spell did you just cast?
Wood shape.
Fantastic. So once again, reaching into your druidic powers, you reach your consciousness out to the wood, making up this ancient, decrepit warehouse, and you use your powers to shape the wood into a wall. So do you effectively just seal up the just seal up any openings? It's just one giant wall now?
Yeah, I think it's mostly used to make doors, but I like walls.
Fantastic. So you have
there's a 30% chance that any shape that includes moving parts simply doesn't work. This has no moving parts, so I don't see why that would come into effect.
Fantastic. So you turn these doors into a wall, closing up the hole.
I turned to the cultist that tried to stab me. One moment, and then I do it.
You seal up. You seal up that hole. Fantastic. So that is your turn. You have neutralized the undead. Nicely done. Hektor, there is one cultist left in front of you who just tried to stab you like some kind of punk. What do you do?
Let's just make sure here and no power attack. We're just gonna definitely kill this guy. That's a 20 to hit.
That is going to be a hit.
That's 21 points of damage. I rolled
Yeah,
max.
you fucking murder this dude. You smash his head like a watermelon and he collapses to the cobblestones.
Yeah, I just smash his head mid-turn as I start to turn around and look back the way that we came, yelling out to Zurabak, "Hey, it looks like it's go time. Let's
Yeah,
get
but
the
this
fuck
one's
outta
gotta
here."
die. He's an idiot.
Obviously.
All right.
And I'll use
that
my
brings
move
us-
action to start leaving.
Fantastic. You start running back the way you came, away from this horrid place. That makes it the cultist turn. There is one guy left. This guy looks behind him and sees the 8 friends of his that were just slaughtered with incredible efficiency.
As he looks behind you, Zurabak says, "Oh yeah, they're dead."
The cultist looks at the warehouse full of their undead legions that has now been sealed shut magically.
They're also dead, but they got back up. It's complicated.
And the cultist is going to weigh his options, and he is going to tactically retreat. He's going to drop his dagger and withdraw, running away from you and towards the courtyard and the void spike therein. That is the cultist's turn. Are you and your snake going to give chase or let this guy go, Zurabak?
How far away does he run?
He got like 30 feet away from you.
I'm gonna move 10 feet towards him and chuck my spear at him.
Roll an attack roll.
16.
16 is a hit, sir. Nicely done. Roll damage.
8 plus 7.
That is enough to kill this cultist. This guy sees the situation he's in, turns on a heel, starts booking it back towards the courtyard, and you hurl your spear and ace this dude right between the shoulder blades as he's mid-stride, and you drop him. He falls to the cobblestones dead. You've slain your last cultist. The warehouse full of undead is sealed up, and you see across the courtyard a series of dancing lights high in the air, moving its way out of the center of town. Do you all book it to catch up with your friends?
Zurabak calmly gets his spear.
Mm-hmm.
And then, cast... Where the fuck did it go? Pass without a trace on him and Snake, and we just leave.
Fantastic.
Hector circles back a few times because he started first and he is faster, but he keeps like running backwards. Like, okay, wait, are you coming? All right.
So Hector, Zurabak, and Snake, you all depart.
Can't go too fast.
Right.
Snake's slow.
Rilla and Ruger, you are with the Hilltopple family, darting quickly away from the courtyard. And after a very short amount of time, you all reconvene at your rendezvous point on that half-sunken building overlooking the courtyard. As you all come within sight of each other, the cawing of these ravens all around you get louder and louder, and you can still see from this overlook that Varyx is still smashing his fists against the inside of this bubble, unable to get free, but the void spike pulses once, and all of the ravens around you, their eyes glow red, and that cloud above you starts to descend lower and lower. And that is where we will end.
Hello, and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast, where we take a gander into the hearts and minds of our protagonists, that we might glean their motivations, their inspirations, their fears, and their funny fucking stories. I'm Ruger Firehide, and I'll be your host for this evening, on account of the fact that our nameless good buddy is still at large in Zurabak's dread studio. But worry not, for I have in my possession notes belonging to said nameless host, and on those notes is the perfect question for this evening. So without further ado, and because I want to get it over with, Hektor the Gatekeeper, Keeper of the Gates. How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Great. Glad to hear it. Hektor, you see I'm sitting in the host chair with
I do.
the host notes. So I'm thinking you might be able to guess what is going on here.
Maybe.
Well, Hektor,
Hey, can I just say out there that we really, really miss you? Please come back. The show's falling apart without you.
yeah, honestly,
No offense.
honestly, this is terrible. And I gotta be honest with you, Hektor. I know you and I aren't necessarily close, but I'm starting to grow a little concerned. See, I went looking for Sharon, and for the first time in as long as I can remember, I could not find Sharon. And then I got a little stressed out, so then I thought, maybe I'll go smoke a cigarette or something. So I went to go crack a window, and I couldn't find any windows. There's just nothing but swamp. So then I was like, well, maybe I'll just head to the door and just take a step outside, get some fresh air. And I couldn't find the door. And buddy, I'm starting to get a little. Have you seen Sharon or the windows or the door?
I mean, okay, so you're new. It's fine. I've never seen Sharon. I know she's here. I've never seen a door or a window either. You get used to it after a while.
Huh. Huh. Well, Hektor, anyways, I have got quite a humdinger for you this evening. The host left these here notes, and tonight's question, Hektor, is what is the story behind your first kiss?
Well, that's really, really personal.
Yeah?
Ruger, You want me to tell you about my first kiss? You want me to tell Ruger Firehide about...
Well, yeah, that me and our tens and tens of listeners.
That's personal.
Well, yeah, buddy, but I mean, it's on the paper, and you know how this works. At the end of the day, unless you're Zurabak, you answer the question, buddy. So, what's the story behind your first kiss?
Well, this isn't fair. I'm contractually obligated to answer. It was still just a small gatekeeper. Child, really. Mel. After the festival, we ran off, got lost. Turns out, a bunch of mountains and rocks look very similar until you're taught the path. Spent hours out there. So eventually our dads came and found us. Good times.
Well, Hector, if I'm honest, that's actually kind of a cute story. I was expecting some bullshit out of you, but honestly, that was mighty endearing, buddy.
Everything I say is cute and endearing.
Yeah,
I'm Hector the Gatekeeper.
yeah, I've looked at your contract. I understand what you're supposed to be saying. Anyways, buddy, it's been great, I guess. But if you wouldn't mind, you can go ahead and go on then. I've got other people to ask questions.
Yep, I'll go stand in the corner like usual.
Yeah, okay, that's weird. Alrighty. Anywho, Rilla Longshadow. How are you?
Oh, still apparently the only one worried about the missing host, I guess.
It's not just the host that's missing. It's also the doors and the windows. And I could have sworn they existed, but Hector told me they didn't. And now, honestly, I'm questioning my own memory. Have you seen the doors?
Yeah, of course, I walked in through them like 5 minutes ago. What are you talking about?
5 minutes ago. So if I asked you to walk me to the doors after this here question, you could help me. Because I feel like I've been in this swamp way longer than I realized. And, we've been looking for this host for a while. But, like, how long have we been looking for the host? It feels like it's,
I know you're an older human, but I wasn't aware we were at the help you to the door age already.
Wow, that, honestly, I thought it was going to be Hector that cut me deep tonight, but, Rilla, I'll give it to you. That one was a real stinger. I do have a little bit of wisdom in my beard, but I don't think I'm losing my mind. I'm just saying, I haven't seen doors, I haven't seen windows, I haven't seen Sharon, I haven't seen the host. Zurabak's doing creepy shit. I'm pretty sure I saw this crocodile swim by earlier with blonde hair, and it like giggled at me, and I think maybe I am losing my mind.
Yeah, I think so too, actually.
That wasn't you
Doesn't sound good.
Playing a trick on me, perchance? I've seen you change into, all kinds of things.
I cannot turn into a crocodile. And I would not give myself blonde hair if I could. That seems real obviously not a crocodile. I don't know. That's an odd one.
Okay. Well. Okay. Anyways,
I think maybe the stress is getting to you.
Yeah, I mean, I was telling Hector I wanted to smoke this cigarette, but it seems rude to do it without cracking a window, and I can't find... Anyway, Rilla, I got this paper, I got these here notes. As it turns out, ATDT is a timed event. So, can you tell me the story of your first kiss?
Oh, sure. It was a beautiful moonlit night, and I casually strolled out of the gates of my... What are you talking about? I'm on lockdown all the goddamn time.
What do you mean? What do you mean you're on lockdown? I mean, I'm pretty sure I hang out with you sometimes with,
Okay, like now, sure, but for the majority of my life, for the last 116 and a half years, or whatever.
116 and a half? How the... You're 106.
I'm a baby. Shut up. I'm 117.
And you're calling me old.
I'm a grown up.
Just to be clear.
Ish.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Elf. Remember? I'm an elf.
So, anyways, what are you telling me here?
The equivalent of a teenager.
Are you telling me that in your 116 and a half years, you've never kissed anybody?
I mean, I've kissed my sister. Does that count? Probably not.
I'm pretty sure that very explicitly does not count.
Yeah, no, I was under constant supervision by a cabal of elders that wanted to use my blood to restore the goddamn forest. So no, I wasn't left alone. Ever. Nor could I hang out with anyone my own age except for on festivals. And the best I did was made one friend. Kind of.
Oh yeah, I remember listening to that. I listened to that episode. That was a good one. Well, that is honestly surprising, but I mean,
right? I'm real cute.
yeah, definitely.
But,
And honestly, pretty much any time you take a shape, that one's usually some shade of cute, ish. I don't know. I saw you turn into a lizard folk one time, and that was weird.
Yeah, that was a good prank on Zurabak, though. He did try to eat me, but it was worth it.
Yeah, he does that. Good old Becky. Well, anyways, Rilla, I'm gonna appreciate your honesty. Honestly, you and Hector both have surprised me with your answers this evening, and honestly, anything you tell me is not gonna be anywhere near as bad as what Zurabak is probably about to tell me. So,
yeah, I don't really want to hear that.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I was looking at the contracts to see if
Where
I could
did the
get
door
out of
go?
it, but
I swear to God, I just came in through a door. Where I would like to leave before Zurabak answers the first kiss question.
I don't know. I could have sworn it used to be right over there, and then Hector said it was never even there to begin with. Why don't you ask him? He's standing over there in the corner.
Yeah, just come over here in the corner.
Where the cool kids are, right?
Yeah, anyways, that's your cue.
We'll be looming in the corner.
Exit stage left, Rilla. Like I said, we're on a time crunch. Zurabak.
Yeah, well, oh.
Hey, Zurabak. How are
We're
you?
still here?
Yeah, man, How long have we been here? I've been asking around. Feels like we've been here for a while, but like Rilla told me that she walked through the door like 5 minutes ago. I mean, we've been looking for this host for, seems like, I don't know, ages.
Wait, we haven't found his corpse yet? Yeah, you guys are awful at searching.
Well, wait. You know where his corpse is?
No.
You know he's a corpse.
I assume. He's weak.
Well, that is something we can both agree on, Becky. He is definitely a very feeble, I guess you'd call it a man. I don't know. Well, Zurabak, buddy, this is about to get weird. I'm doing the whole as the dice turns thing, and tonight's question is about tonsil hockey. Swap and spit, as it were. So, Zurabak, can you enlighten our fans as to the story behind your first kiss, please?
Oh, sure. We were frolicking through the meadow. The sun was shining, and Zurabak doesn't kiss. Zurabak bites.
Zurabak, you bit somebody?
I bit a lot of people.
Buddy, that's assault. We've gone over this, but like, I'm asking about when you were romantic with someone, and you're telling me about when you attacked people. Like, come on, you gotta have some story where you connected with somebody on a deeper level and needed to express yourself with them, yeah?
Mouths are made for biting. That's what the teeth are for.
Well, buddy, I can't argue with science. And quite frankly, you're letting me off the hook here a little bit. So, that's great. I'm glad to hear that I'm not glad to hear anything you just told me, buddy. You should really stop biting people. But,
Then they should be stopped being so biteable.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to scribble that in the notes for next time. People, stop being biteable. Anyways, thanks for your time, Zurabak. It's been grand. So, you have a great nap or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lay back down.
Well, folks, that's it. Arguably the worst As the Dice Turns that's ever been recorded. I appreciate your time and thank you for sitting through. Until next time, keep those dice turning.
Hey there, dear listeners. It is Sam, your Dungeon Master, checking in here with the credits at the end of the show. Got a lot of things to mention here, so I hope you'll hang in there with me. Some pretty exciting stuff coming on down the pike. First things first, as usual, music for Challenge Rating 0 is provided by the amazingly talented harp wolf, Danielle Taylor-Williams. You can find more of her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album out called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? You should check that out. It's a real banger. Additional music for the show is provided by Justin Ra. You can find his work at justinra.com. He has an album out called Age of the Spirit, which you should check out as well. If you'd like to contact us here at the show, you can reach out to us on Twitter at challenge_ZERO. You can email us, including As the Dice Turns questions, at challengeratingzero@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Challenge Rating 0, and on Instagram, Challenge Rating 0. Look us up, give us a follow, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you have the time to tell a friend about the show so we can expand our listener base, we would certainly appreciate it. We have a lot of fun making this show, and from the numbers, it looks like you all have fun listening to it. So if you wouldn't mind telling a buddy about it, that's pretty much how we spread the word. If you wouldn't mind swinging out to Apple Podcasts and leaving us a review, that would be excellent as well. We very much appreciate all the support we've gotten so far, and we're going to keep trying to make the best show we can. In addition, a couple more things to plug here. Want to give a shout out to my website, samthedm.com. If anyone in the St. Louis area is looking for a dungeon master to run an event for them, you can head to samthedm.com and find ways to contact me to schedule an event. I have been privileged and blessed enough to get vaccinated, got that Johnson & Johnson. It's a one and done, so I am ready to mingle responsibly with masks and distancing, but I am going back to in-person events. So, if anyone in the St. Louis area is interested in a professional dungeon master, feel free to go to samthedm.com and you can contact me for an event. Speaking of events, I have very recently signed up with a very exciting local camp, Sage Mountain Camping. These amazing and crazy folks over at Sage Mountain Camping are a Dungeons & Dragons themed campsite in Berger, Missouri. You can find them at sagemountaincamping.com. This is a campground in the Midwest in Berger, Missouri, where you can play Dungeons and Dragons, and they have on staff a cadre of professional dungeon masters that you can hire to run you through some games while you are enjoying the great outdoors. This summer, they actually have some pretty big events that they are running, and I am fortunate enough to be working with these folks. So, they are having some Dungeons & Dragons conventions this summer. There's one in June, one in July, one in August, and one in late September, early October. You can buy tickets. There are only a few tickets available, so if you are interested, you should snatch these up as soon as you can. The first event is in June. It is June 23rd. And it goes until June 28th. So that's June 23rd, a Wednesday. And it goes until June 28th, the following Monday, where you check out by noon. And that is 5 days of Dungeons and Dragons. You roll up to the campsite, you set up your tent, and you check in with your DM, and you get about 30 hours of gaming included in the price of your ticket. There's a bunch of different levels of tickets available with different bonuses for every level. I am going to be on staff running games for this campsite for these events this summer, and I highly recommend that anyone in the St. Louis area or just in the Midwest that's interested in a one-of-a-kind experience where you get to go camp out in this amazing, sprawling campsite and indulge in some Dungeons and Dragons at the same time, you'd be foolish to pass up on this opportunity. So again, that is sagemountaincamping.com. Go to their events page, find out how to buy tickets for these events. Like I said, the next one is in June 23rd through the 28th. If you missed that one, there's another one in July. It's July 21st to July 26th. There's another one in August. That's August 25th to August 30th. And there's one in late September. That's September 29th to October 4th. This is a very long weekend of camping in Dungeons & Dragons with professional DMs to run games for you and your friends. If you are interested, please head to sagemountaincamping.com. Real quick point of order, they are not a sponsor of the show, but I have signed on to work these events for them as a contractor, and I am very much looking forward to it. So, I think that's about all I have to plug this time. Thank you all so much for listening to our show. We'll have another episode out for you folks in 2 weeks. That will be... Let me double check here. We're doing so well, we can actually call these out. That'll be April 18th. And yeah, stay tuned, and we will see you then. Thanks, folks. Bye.